Oh, you're muted, Alicia.
Okay.
There we go.
Whoa.
All right, let's try this again. Good morning, and thank you for joining us for this week's weekly Wednesday presentation from RCIL. This presentation is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Otsego County Office for the Aging Facebook page and to our county website. I ask that everyone except the presenter and myself keep your videos turned off and that you remain muted unless you have a question. Please feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions as you move through the presentation today. You can also use the chat feature if you prefer, and I will ask those questions for you. For those who are new to Wednesday presentations, we host presentation every Wednesday using the same link at 11 a.m. Topics are on various community-based organizations and topics relevant to long-term services and supports. For those who do not know me, my name is Alicia Chase. I am Otsego County's long-term care coordinator. My role here at Office for the Aging is to manage the New York Connects program. This program provides information and assistance on all community-based services and long-term services and supports that are available here in Otsego County. Although my office is under Office for the Aging, we are unique in that we are able to help anyone of any age who is looking for help navigating the complicated care systems available. We can assist those who just want information and assistance, who need referrals to other community-based organizations, who need help with applications and completing them, who need help seeking information on admissions to adult homes or nursing home placement. If you are unsure if New York Connects can help you, your client, or a loved one, please do not hesitate to reach out. We do have a New York Connects partner, Vince Baker, with the Independent Living Center in Oneonta. Those wishing to reach out to me can do so by calling Office for the Aging at 607-547-4232. If you would like to reach out to the Ombudsman who are going to present for you today, you can call RCIL at 315-272-1872. And at this time, I'm going to turn the program over to them for today's presentation.
Thank you, Alicia. So I'm going to go through the presentation, and then if there's any questions, Katie's going to answer anybody's questions that they might have. All right, so let me share my screen. Share. Can everybody see that? Katie, can you see it?
Yes.
I can.
Okay, I just want to make sure because I can't tell if you can see it or not.
Well, you have the side on there too. The slides on the side. So.
Okay. Let me.
There.
All right. So we're going to talk about our long-term care ombudsman program in New York State. So we have a program mission, and it's to serve as an advocate and resource for older adults and persons with disabilities who live in long-term care facilities. And we also serve those who are in assisted living and adult homes. So we have some values that we follow. We are always resident-centered. We follow being confidential, accessible, prevention. We try to empower residents to advocate for themselves as well. We do complaint resolution, and we have objectivity. So some of our responsibilities under the Older Americans Act is to investigate and resolve complaints that we receive from residents or family members. We educate residents, family members, facilities on resident rights because those are very important. And we advocate for the quality of care in those facilities that we do cover. And we promote the development of resident and family councils because those are very important. Katie and I attend resident and family councils. It's very important. So family and residents can discuss any concerns with the facility staff that they might be having. So this is what our posters look like. Our posters are in all of the long-term care facilities, assisted living facilities, and adult homes. These are very important. We make sure that the facilities have them posted throughout the buildings. We don't want them just in one spot. We make sure they put them in places that are easily accessible and at a good height for residents to be able to see, especially those who are in wheelchairs, so they can see and read our poster and get our number that we would right here, that so they can call if they ever had any concerns or a complaint they wanted to share with us. So the Ombudsman's authority comes from the Older Americans Act and also the New York State Elder Law. Feel free to look up those sections if you wanted to get a little bit more detail on everything. So what are we? We work to resolve problems that are related to the health, the safety, the welfare, and the rights of residents who live in long-term care facilities, assisted living facilities, and adult homes. We try to improve their living, we improve their quality of care at the facility, local, state, and national levels. We are an advocate, a mediator, a negotiator, and a problem solver. What we are not a facilities regulator, a facility enforcer. We're not a licensing surveyor, an inspector, or anything like that. We are not adult protective services investigators, and we don't provide direct care for residents either. So our roles are, we are listeners and investigator. We listen to the residents and their concerns. We gather information and then we evaluate facts. We are also educators. We educate on resident rights, the regulations, staffing, any other resources in the community. If a resident calls and wants to leave the facility, we can give them information on how to go about doing that. We are also negotiators and collaborators. We try to help improve communication and find solutions. We're more of like a third-party facilitator between residents and other residents, or residents and staff, or family and staff. We try to get a happy medium where everybody can agree and the resolution is beneficial to the resident. We are also policy analysts. We look at the policies of the facilities to see, how they're impacting the residents' lives, if they're good or bad. We're also a provider of information. We provide families, residents, even staff with information. And we are most importantly an advocate on behalf of residents. We are advocates for those who may not be able to speak for themselves. So we do speak on behalf of the residents. We're a referral agent, like I said. If somebody was looking for some other type of agency to help with services, if they want to leave home or leave the facility to go home, we can give them the information and phone numbers for other agencies. We are problem solvers. We assist residents with their problems that they call us with, and we try to provide resolutions and resources and things to help them. We're also a systems change agent. We advocate for the concerns of the residents and the need for a change. If there's a change for their care or their room or food or things like that, we advocate for that change. So a lot of people confuse us that think that we are affiliated with the Department of Health. We are not. We are our own thing. Department of Health is their own thing. We are our own thing. I mean, there are some similarities between us and the Department of Health. Quality of, they are quality of care. We're quality of life. They do regulatory compliance on minimum standards, but we go above and beyond those minimum standards. DOH only comes around once a year, normally for their recertification surveys or complaint visits they might get, but we're here all the time, every day. The DOH, they're really only there for complaints or anything else, and they don't really try to work around the complaint, try to see, what the root cause is. We work with the facility and try to come up with some type of happy medium, figure out what the cause of the complaint was. So we are similar. We oversee the long-term care facilities and assisted living facilities. And we both investigate complaints on the behalf of the complainants, but we investigate in a different way than the Department of Health. We identify the root causes, we assist in mediation with the facility staff and resolve resident complaints before any regulatory action has to take place. And with us, facilities have an opportunity for improvement before receiving a formal citation. So before we can do anything to assist a resident, we have to get permission to do so, permission from the resident or on behalf of the resident if someone is in charge of their care, like a healthcare proxy or a POA or something like that. We have to get their permission to speak on the resident's behalf. A resident or the representative, they're always fully informed about how we can help them when they call. Normally people will ask if they're unsure, what can you do for me? And we explain that to them, what our roles are. And most importantly, this program is resident focused. We are resident centered at all times. The resident always comes first. And we always respect their wishes. That's our main priority. If they say, no, I don't want you to act on my behalf, we don't do that. We can do it differently. We can do it anonymously where we don't have to say the resident's name. But usually the residents are giving us, permission to act and giving us the okay to go ahead and say their name and state to the facility, what's going on and try to investigate for them. All right. Questions? I know I kind of went through that a little bit fast, so.
You can unmute yourself and ask questions, or you can type them in the chat and I'll read them for you.
And I do want you to know this is a volunteer-based program. So we have volunteers right now. We're in need of volunteers and we're doing a volunteer recruitment. So if anyone's interested, you can call the number and we can talk about that. But our volunteers are—
Here, the number's right here, the 272-1872. You can call that.
Yep. So the volunteers go in, they're typically in the facilities at least 2 hours per week. So, they're as us as staff, we're not able to do that as often. So in this region, we cover 50 facilities and we have 9 volunteers and 2 staff. So we're really in need of volunteers. So if you know anybody that would be good at volunteering or interested in even talking about it, give us a call and give them our number.
You only need to devote 2 hours a week of your time to be a volunteer. So it's not, it's not a long time that you have to do it, just 2 hours a week.
It's a New York State certified ombudsman is what you would be. There is training that you would have to do. So, but it's very rewarding.
Can you share some examples of common issues that you see?
Right now, we have a lot of stuff is about visitation. We have a lot of complaints about missing laundry. We have staffing, the lack of care right now. Because especially with the vaccination criteria now coming up, we're possibly going to lose a lot of staff in the facilities. So the quality of care right now is not at its utmost. So we do a lot of that because I know as a resident-centered program, I know you're out of staff. I know there's not enough staff, but these residents have rights the same as anybody else. They have a right to, imagine having to go to the bathroom and you got to ring a call bell and, you got to wait an hour to go to the bathroom. Those are the kinds of things that we deal with. A lot, family members go to do visits and, they can't, they're upset about how their family member appears to them. And we just investigate and we try and work out, a solution to things. And there's all kinds of, it's very rewarding.
Are there any other questions?
Well, while you're thinking of questions, I'll tell you the little process is if you need someone, you just tell them to give us a call. Either the resident can call or a family member can call. We take the call. We assign it to the volunteers. Each volunteer has their own facility, so it's not like they're going to all over. They have their own specific facility. And if we're not, if they're not assigned to someone, then myself or Brianna have our own assignments. They call, we reach out to the resident, we get their concerns, we address them with the appropriate people, and then we try to resolve the concerns, and then we get back in touch with the people, or most often we can have the resident meet with us, with them, or the family member. It's all residents' choice as how do they want to deal with it. And sometimes what they don't want us to say anything to anybody. So we'll do, if we get that complaint, then we'll go around and ask questions to other people, kind of inquire, hey, how's your bath going? Do you get a shower? When was the last time you had a shower? That's one of the main concerns is hygiene right now. Have you had time? When was the last time, and then we check with that facility. When was the last, because they're supposed to mark it down. When was the last time you had a shower? And they'll, say, they'll mark it down. This is shower day, or they refused, or however they want to go about it. But we get to the bottom of it and help solve the concerns.
If the facility is not cooperative with any mediation suggestions, etc., from the ombudsman, then what happens? What's the next step?
We call the state RASO, or they can file a complaint with the Department of Health. The resident. But typically, they do try to resolve things with us. Sometimes it can't be resolved. Sometimes it just really is staffing. What can you do if you don't have the staff? But it's not gonna make us not continue to monitor that and make sure that, they're doing what they need to do. And Brianna, you can answer that as well.
Yeah, sometimes we'll get complaints that don't get resolved. There's some that we just can't resolve, and then there's some people that we can't satisfy either. We do resolve it, but we don't resolve it to their liking, I guess, and that's how it is sometimes. You can't please everybody as well. We try the best we can, to what the resident wants done, and sometimes we're unable to do that.
And we do have repeat callers. So we go in and do, work it out again and again.
Usually the repeat callers it's usually the same complaints over and over that we have resolved, and then I don't know, something else happens, and
food.
So
a lot of complaints about food.
I hear that too about food.
Yeah. But we do need, we do cover Otsego County. So we do have some facilities up there, and we do need volunteers. We need some ombudsmen for the area.
Volunteers in our county is tough for everybody right now, but we'll put the word out.
Yep. Well, you'll be seeing some volunteer recruitment ideas. Hopefully, we're targeting that area to try and reach out. And
do you have any volunteers in our area right now?
We have one.
Okay.
We did have two. but now we only have one. She covers Chestnut Park.
Mhm.
So we have a couple adult living facilities there as well.
Yep.
So I do Cooperstown Center. So if anybody's looking to do Cooperstown Center, I'll help you out.
All right, that appears to be all of the questions for today.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Thank you for sharing.